Hello everyone, and welcome back to part 65 of Build HMS Victory. Okay, so if you joined me last week's video, I had started making some progress on the rudder, and I started to cut out all these little slots. It's going to take these brackets, but I kind of cut the video a little bit short because obviously I'm going to move on next to do a little bit of coppering. Then I was going to add these rudder brackets. I realised I was completely out of little pins. I couldn't find any anywhere. I think I'd used them all up on the Yamato builders. We don't actually get any pins in Yamato, so I kind of think I must use them on them. So what I decided to do was just kind of went on eBay and just ordered some of these little 7mm pins from Matty. So now I can carry on with the build. So as you can see, I've already coppered one side of the rudder. And I did that in exactly the same way as I did the hull. I just pretty much just went across and obviously just started where I could have it looking like a two or a join line, then pretty much using a full copper tile and then another join line. And working my way up, and then when I got to the edges, I just wrapped them over and then I just carried on with a full piece all the way up there. So I just left one side that I can carry on with just so you can see the process. I'm just using these single tiles, and originally so I was going to do all the hull hinge singles. Then I realised it was a lot easier to do them in rows of 4. I'm just going to start. I'm just going to put one of these tiles about halfway across the rudder. I'm just leaving it overhanging just for now. I'm just taking the one. I wanted this one where the rivets are on the left hand side. I'm just going to cross over the pieces around about a mil. Just press that down. I'm taking the fiberglass pencil and then smooth this in. And just taking a sharp knife, I'm just going to pull this taut and then I'm just going to cut it along the edge. Turn it over. Just do the same on the other side. And then kind of just take the fiberglass pencil again and then just kind of rub them into these ends. Okay, so I've taken another tile. This time I'm going to go right to the end. And it's overlapping around about 0.5mm. Same again, just rub it all in, really press it into the wood. Like I did before, I'm just going to score it. Okay, that's 2 rows. I'll just do one more. Same again, about halfway across, overlapping the tile below it around about 0.5mm. So I'll press it to start with. Take one more, also like we did before, this is going to be a riveted end. Cross them over slightly. Just press it all in. when the copper sheet does kind of comes around this cut out, so it's, you know, just using a off core wood, just pressing all nice and flat. Most of it's going to be covered by the bracket. I say when they're fitted, most of that's going to be covered. So this one, just push it in best you can, and when you're happy, just get a final press over it with a fiberglass pencil, and that's 3 rows done. Okay, so I'm going to carry on working my way up the rudder with some more of these copper tiles, and then we'll come back and start looking at the bracket arms. So these are the brackets that came with the kit, and they're okay, but when you kind of push them into the recess, where we cut, you notice you need quite a little bit of work to make them fit nice and flush. So that's pretty much how they start off, and this is after I've just slightly bent them slightly just for a better fit. And when these kind of go over the little parts of the rudder that we've cut, they just fit so much nice and flush. So I'm just taking a pair of these and those pliers. I'm just going to put it pretty much right up to that corner where they've put this first bend in. I'm just going to kind of squeeze it and then just kind of bring it back. Just pretty much going to bring it back flat again, and pretty much on the other side. Put it into the part of the in-loss pliers, so it's not got the grips. Put it straight onto there, and I'm just going to, the same again, just turn it. Just going to kind of just keep turning it. So pretty much just flatten out that bracket again. And all I'm doing now is just pretty much by eye. I mean, you go to the extremes measuring it, but all we want is kind of where that little channel is going to fit straight down the middle of the rudder. So we're looking around about 2 mil either side that channel. So I'm going to pop it back into the needle nose pliers again, and leave a gap about 2 mil, and then just using my thumb. I mean, this metal's been warmed up already slightly, obviously it was working that. So yeah, so about 2 mil away from that centre section, and then just bend it with your thumb. And then we're going to get pretty much just looking like that. Turn it over so it's facing the other way. Same again, back into the needle nose pliers, pretty much up against that central column, come back across about 2 mil, and then with your thumb again, just bend it. So all that does is just kind of just forms a nicer bracket that's going to then bring it across to the rudder. It's just going to fit nicer in this gap. And that's just going to fit a lot nice and flushier. Okay, so I've made 5 more of these little brackets off camera, and all I've done is added a little 6 mil brass rod, and all I've done is just use a little bit of super glue, just hold it in place. It's not really offering much support other than it just stops it from falling out when I'm going to fit these 2 parts. So pretty much want one facing up, one facing down to the left, and one facing up to the right. And we're leaving this one with 3 pinholes. This is going to go right to the bottom one. Like I say, with the rudder, we don't actually want it in line around the copper. I actually want it to be in line with this vertical face. So I'm just going to use my left hand, just push this nice and tight, and then just get the right hand, just kind of make sure that it looks like it's running nice in line. When I'm happy with the position, I'm just taking a little brass pin that's been cut off and put into the pin drill, I'm just going to push a hole in. Taking one of these little pins that I've just received a couple of days ago. I just like to use my hammer for this section. Let's hammer that down. Before I add the other two, I'm just going to swap it over. Just check the alignment of this one. And same again. Just push a little pin in. Take another pin. Push him in. And when you're happy with the position, you can just add two more. Okay, so that's your first rudder bracket in. Let's say still plenty of movement. Like I say, that super glue, all they did is just hold the pin in. Okay, so it's adding my next bracket. Like I did before, I'm just gonna put the first pin in. Like I did before, swap it over to kind of check the position, make sure you're happy with it. Okay, so that's two rudder brackets added. Okay, so moving on to the next one, I'll show you this process. All I did, like I say, just run a little bit of super glue just into that channel and take a little bit of the 6mm brass rod and then just drop that in and just give it a little squeeze. Like I say, that's not too kind of holding anyway. It's just so it's drop out when we're trying to fit the next bracket. And one of my ones I actually did solder it in for the results and for how much extra work it was, I didn't really think it was that worth it. Okay, so we're starting to make us a way up. Probably we start to need to reduce the overall length of this bracket from probably three holes down to just after two. But it's exactly the same process as before, but instead now it's got the two holes rather than three. Okay, so after adding the first three brackets, I'll add the next three just off camera, a bit tricky, and then we'll come back and start fitting the rudder to Victory's hull. Okay, so pretty much a day's passed since the last time I worked on Victory, and all I did is after I pretty much filmed when I had the first three runs these rudder brackets, and then I just added three more off camera. And when I got to the top one, just because this is going to be above the waterline, I'll just give this bracket a little coat of bare metal primer, and now it's just ready to be painted in black. Then we can fit it to the hull. And this is just using the Admiralty dull black paints. A lot of people ask me what paints I use. I just use this range. Okay, so I'll let that dry 5 minutes. I'll get another second coat, and then we'll come back and fit it to the hull. Okay, so I brought Victory back across, and this painted section of the rudder's had a good 10-15 minutes to dry, so I should be okay now. So what I'm going to do, I've just kind of just painted inside the slot for the rudder on the transom. I'm just going to feed this. I've already kind of pre-opened up these rudder brackets. That's pretty much, so it's going to fit around the keel section. I'm just going to slide it down. I'm just going to try and make sure that I'm going to feed all these little brackets. I'm just going to push it towards the keel, and then I'm just going to use my right hand and just kind of hold this bracket. I'm just going to straighten it up. Make sure I'm squeezing it in. I'm probably just going to use that pinhole again. I'm just going to put one in the middle hole first, and then this time I'm just going to use the the pin pusher. And I'm just going to move down. I'm just going to get another push. Just going to squeeze up this. You can see. Just going to level up this bracket. Just get another squeeze, not too much. Same again into the centre one. Add a pin, and then choose a pin pusher. Add a pin. So I'm just going to go to the farthest end. Just it's easy for me to film it to show you. Make sure that the rudder can still move, as you can. Moving down to the next one, this one, I'm going to kind of press it in and shape it into this keel section. Move one down, do the same again. Let's have a look from the sides, making sure that it looks like it's staying level. Move down to the next one. Just kind of say, just making sure that it's lining up. I'm going to try and hammer this time a bit more in. Down to the bottom, push this rudder slightly to the right. And that's pretty much the process, and then all we've got to do is just kind of go back over the whole rudder section on both sides and just fill in all the rest of the pins. Okay, so I'm just going to rest these pins off camera because where my head needs to be, I'm just going to block it on the camera. So I'll add all the rest of the pins, and then we'll come back and show you the final product. Okay, so I've added another probably half a dozen of these little brass pins. That's pretty much all the rudder complete. Some of the sections around here where it was very hollow, some obviously once you pretty much penetrated the 2mm of this planking, it pretty much nothing to grab on. So all I took is just a little bit of super glue, just like fed a little dot behind the head. So once it was tacked in, it pretty much held the brass pin head to the plate. And then I just kind of went back over and just touched up a little bit of the black paint. But that's pretty much all the rudder complete. And that's pretty much another kind of big section ticked off. So I can pretty much get this Victory now facing up the right way. I can pretty much carry on working on all the beakhead and some more of the adding all the decoration parts to the quarter deck. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, and I'll see you all next time.